Hey everybody, and welcome to today's camp. Design custom furniture using Autodesk Inventor. This will kind of act as a little bit of a beginner's course. We did another video with basics, and this one we're going to kind of focus in on a few of those. You can go watch the other video, but in this one, I'll kind of go through it the same things, and we have instructions this time as well. But yeah, we're going to be building a shelf. It's not that cool, but it gives us the opportunity to kind of be simple with it and try a lot of different ideas. So yeah, this is a Figma file that I've made. You'll have a link to it in your sidebar, or you can go to the link in the description to access it. This is just the cover. And there's a blueprint category. I'll be adding more blueprints over time as I find time to make things. I was completely blanking, but I really like how this turned out in the end. If you want to download it, you can click right here on the name, so wall shelf thing. Can I make this? Let me see if I can make this screen bigger. There. Okay, cool. You'll click on this, and you can scroll down and add it will look like this maybe. You'll add the plus sign for export, change it to PDF and hit export because the text is kind of tiny for how the scaling worked because the shelf is so big that I had to kind of scale it weirdly here. But yeah, I mean, this is the instructions we're basically going to be following. You can download it to your iPad or your tablet, your phone if you'd like. You can print it. I don't know the quality of that'll come out. But yeah, and you can also just use Figma to zoom in. But I've kind of done all these measurements and stuff. So it could be pretty self-explanatory. We're going to do a little bit more with it by adding some constraints, which allow us to kind of interlock pieces together. But yeah, this is kind of our final product. It's how it's going to look. It's going to be flat against the side with these cool holes, so then you can kind of use those to mount into your wall if you'd like, if you actually want to make this, and you can actually, get it done. But yeah, just a quick little blueprint. I'll hopefully have it on the side. Inventor's kind of weird about that, but yeah, let's go straight into it. I'm currently an Inventor, and we can kind of go straight into it. You'll click the new button. We're going to create a standard IPT, and it's going to load up pretty quickly, hopefully. Awesome. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to start off by making the base, or I guess the top part of our shelf. I currently have the blueprints right next to me, and I'll kind of throw them up on the screen. But it probably is preferred that you have all of it kind of out there. So what I'm just going to hit start right here, and I'm going to choose the XZ plane, which is flat, and then I'm going to go to rectangle. I'm going to click on this little arrow right here and change it to 2-point center. We're going to click right here in the middle, and I'm going to resize it to 36 inches by 12 inches. So we kind of get a shape that looks like that. All right, cool. I'm going to click Finish Sketch. I'm going to click on the Extrude button, and I'm going to make it 1.5 inches tall, so 1.5, and I'll hit OK. So that's just kind of the base of what we have here. You can kind of rotate with the middle. You can pan around by holding your middle button on your mouse, or you can kind of drag this. You can hold Shift and middle button and pivot. But I like to use this to just kind of get my bearings. So right. Okay, top, there we go. So this is kind of our top. So I'm actually going to save this. I'm going to create a folder on my desktop, shelf thing. And I'm just going to call this top. Cool, we're going to save. Okay, we're good to go. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to make a new IPT, so new file, or file new. We're going to create a new standard part. And we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're going to go to the XZ plane. But this time, if this is the top, then we want to make sure we're on the bottom. So I'm going to rotate this. So now we're on the bottom side of it. And once again, I'm going to use this 2-point center rectangle. I'm going to make it 11 inches tall, and I'm going to make it 2 inches wide. I'm going to hit finish, and now we have this. I'm going to extrude this up 2 inches and press OK. And so this is kind of the other part of what we're building. And I'm going to save this, and I'm just going to call it side piece. I'm just going to call it side, actually. Let's call it side. Okay, cool. So now we have these two parts, and we need a way to interlock them. A way I like to do it is by using constraints and inserting. And what we're going to do is basically create one end that fits into the other end. So I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to rotate down to this bottom. I'm going to hit Start 2D Sketch and click right on top. So now I can kind of see what we're dealing with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, I'm going to change this rectangle right here. I'm just going to set up a inch. I'm going to do 12 by 1. And then I'm going to set up a, just like a basic, and then once again at this point, we're going to do a 2-inch by 11. Oh, no, not 11 by 2, sorry. Rectangle. There you go, 11, 2, right? And I'm kind of going to mess with this really quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to create 2 holes in our top, so then the pieces underneath can just lock into them. So I'm just going to draw a line through here, just so I can understand the center of this. I might redraw that and feel confident in that. There's a little green dot that pops up when you're like right there. Yeah, so 11, cool. And then I'm going to kind of run across this line. Okay, and there's the midpoint. Right, and so I should be able to, if I go right here, I can grab the midpoint, which is right there. I'm going to create a circle along here. I'm going to make it 1.5, and then I'm going to click on the mirror button. I'm going to select this circle. I'm going to mirror it against this top area, so now we have those two. And I'm actually going to do the same thing for the other side with this by making a line down the center. Escape. Click mirror. I'm going to select both of these circles, click on the mirror line, and hit apply. And so we have it on that side as well. All right. So I'm actually going to go over here now and make sure we're actually facing top. And I'm going to actually rotate this here. I'm going to start a 2D sketch on top. And essentially what I want to do actually is now measure the distance from here to here. I'm going to go to annotate, and then, or I can't do annotate, never mind. I'll go to sketch, and I'll just grab a line, and I'll see how far it is. So it's around 2 inches down. I assume it's also 2 inches here. 2 inches. All right, we'll go back to side, and I'll just kind of go up 2. And remember the diameter of our circle is 1.5 inches. So I'm gonna create a circle. Actually, create a line. Sorry, a line, and we're gonna write 1.5 divided by 2, so we get 0.75 of an inch, and we just draw a circle from there to there. And then I'm gonna draw a line across from here, and mirror that across. I'll click on this mirror line button, hit apply, and OK. So for both of these now, we have this piece, or this sketch, and this sketch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Finish Sketch on both. Finish Sketch. I'll start right here, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this. They're going to be both be extruded 0.5 up. And then I'll hit Save, Control S. And then these, I'm actually going to select all of these. And instead of being extruded, I'm going to go the other way, I'm going to go 0.5 in, and it's red now, and it's actually going to dig into those. All right, I'll hit save and save. Awesome. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a new file, new, and a assembly, so standard.iam. And with this, we're actually able to take the pieces that we've made and put them together into a total assembly. So I'm going to save this as full. I'm going to hit the place button. Go to shelf thing. I'm going to add in the top piece. And there's our top piece. I'm also going to place in our side. And you'll see that we'll be able to click it. I'm going to click twice. And what I'm going to do is I'm now going to pan around and get these aligned. So you can kind of see there are holes right here, and there are insert pieces. I'm going to click on constraint. We're going to click on this insert button. I'm going to select the top of this right here. So you kind of get that top piece. And then I'm going to actually insert it into this bottom piece. And you'll see that it just becomes flush. We're going to apply it. And then what we're going to do is going to do the same thing right here. So I'll just choose this piece at the top. And then I'll kind of grab that center. And you'll see that it worked again. I'll hit apply. And just like that, we kind of have the foundation for what our shelf is going to look like. I'm trying to get a good perspective of it. And this looks kind of close to our final project. We have a lot more styling to do, and we're going to render it with some materials. But yeah, this is kind of a super basic way to do it. And if you wanted to do this, go ahead. It's not that hard. It's like 3 pieces of wood and a few inserts here or there. But honestly, you could kind of pull them out of this top piece and put them in the bottom one. But a really cool way to do in Inventor is that we like to start off with, I guess, primitives. So a lot of, cubular shapes and circles and really basic shapes, and then kind of refine them as we go along. We're going to mess with this top part first and kind of give it some rounding. So we know that this is the front of it because there's a greater distance. You can see there's a greater distance between this and this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this fillet button right here, and I'm going to select all these bottom edges, and I'm going to write 0.5, and what it's going to do is going to kind of curve it up, but I'm also going to select these 2 edges right here. I'm going to press OK, and we can actually go back here, and now you can see that we have a little bit of a curve, kind of smoothing out our edges. And then I'm also going to do the same fillet to the top, and you'll see that there's a green line. But I don't want it to be that drastic. I'm going to make it 0.25 and hit OK. So that's that. Cool. I'm actually going to go to the back of this shape where it's still flat because we didn't fillet it. I'm going to start a sketch along this. I'm going to find where the center point of it is and just draw a line up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the center of this and draw one line this way and draw another line this way. And what we're going to do is create some holes in the back of it right now. So in the blueprint, I kind of have this set up. So I'm going to go to this circle tool. We're going to make a circle with a 0.5 diameter. I've listed everything in the blueprints as radius, so multiply by 2. Then I'm going to click the rectangular button right here. We're going to select, this is our geometry. We're going to select direction 1 and direction 2. You can do them otherwise. And you can see really faintly we have these circles here. We're going to make sure that we have this set to 3.5 and this set to 3.5. And you can see they're a little bit more spaced out. And I'm going to set them to 6, maybe 5 actually. 5 looks better, I think. We'll do 5. I don't know how many I did. I think I did around 5. I think it works. Whatever. It might look a little different than what we end out with, but that is okay. Maybe we'll do 6 and we'll do 3. Let me redo that. I'm going to do the rectangle tool. I'm going to choose one direction at 3.5 inches and do 5 of them. And then I'll do the same for the other direction. I don't know why I questioned myself. It looks a little bit different, so I'll kind of go in and modify the blueprints afterwards to kind of meet whatever thing I messed up with there. But yeah, I mean, we can make it 4. Maybe 4 looks better. Let's go with 4 because it kind of lines up. Let's go with 4 inches. So we'll kind of set the number of them to 5, the count if you kind of hover, and then the spacing to 4 inches. I'll hit OK. And then we'll hit Finish Sketch. I'm going to click Extrude, and I'm just going to select all of these circles along this edge. I'm just going to hit this red right here. Okay, cool. So those are our holes in the back. And that's basically all we actually have to do with this. So pretty cool, we got the top done. And if you go back here, you'll see that all our changes saved and are kind of the exact same. All right, cool. Now we want to figure out which is the front and back of this piece in our model, how we constrained it. And I'm going to do that by just kind of adding a radius or a fillet to one edge. And I'll just add like an odd one right there. Okay, so this is the back of our piece, and it's also upside down. So I'll kind of rearrange it. So left. Okay, so this is the front of our piece, and that's the back. What I'm going to do is we're going to add a fillet to this bottom right here. It's going to be 0.5. Okay, so we use super small fillet. And then the back, I'm going to actually make it, we're going to fillet that to be an inch. So inch. And you can kind of see it feels a lot more smoothed out. We can actually fillet this entire side if we'd like. And honestly, I kind of like it, but I'm going to reduce it to like 0.25. So kind of make it just a little bit more rounded. Actually, no. I want it to be purely flat in the back, so maybe just don't do that. And you can even get rid of this if you'd like, if you want more support and want to just put a hole, you could definitely just do that. But I think it looks visually nicer. All right, so I'm actually going to sketch into the side of this. I'm going to find out where the center is. This is, I guess, right here. I'm going to make a 2-point center rectangle right here, and it's going to be 8 inches wide and 0.25 inches tall. I'm going to add a circle. I'm just going to add it right there and right there. And this is, I guess, similar to a fillet, but we're kind of doing it through our sketch. I'm going to now click on the trim tool and just trim that. And then we're going to actually click on this little dimension, hit the delete key, and then I'm actually also going to trim that line. I'll go over here, and I'll trim those 2 lines as well. Oh, and remove the dimension by hitting delete, and I'll hit the trim and do that. All right, cool. Then I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. Then what I'm going to do is hit the Extrude button. I'm going to grab both of those. I'm going to go in the other way, make it red, and I'm going to turn it just so I can see where I'm at. Yeah, and you can actually drag the line as well. I'll go to, I guess, 2 inches. You can go more, it doesn't really matter. And now we have this cool kind of line through it. And if you go back to this, you'll see that the line is also passed through. Pretty cool. Okay, so cool. So that is kind of everything. This camp was really short because I wanted to make shorter content for once, because the last few things were all pretty long. This one is around 25 minutes, I think, maybe less. But I want to also kind of teach you how to style it, add materials, and whatnot. So we kind of, in our assembly, we have all of this. It's all constrained. We have some relationships. We have this insert and that insert. We have our two side pieces, side 1, side 2, and our top, which are kind of come from these two things. We made some holes in the back. So let's kind of add some material to this. So I'm going to click on this one side piece here, and you can shift click the other one, so now they're both selected. And right here at the top, you'll see a default button. We can click on this, and we're given a ton of variety from the Inventor material library to kind of play with and look at different materials. I talked about this in my last Inventor thing and kind of went crazy with it, but this time a lot more conservative with it. We can, the one I did in the blueprints, I did, I think I did walnut. I did naturally polished walnut, and it looks like super bright orange, but it'll change in a little bit. And then for the top, I just did white painted or wood painted white. So that's definitely an option. I'm actually going to use this one. Feel free to do whatever you want, and I'm going to kind of change it maybe once I show you guys how to do something. We can actually go into the environment of the view button, sorry. And this is where we actually configure what actually shows up on our screen. So I'm going to kind of position my shelf into an interesting position. Maybe this one kind of shows off the most of it. Or even like if I did like that, but then you wouldn't know it's a shelf. I'll do that. And we're going to click on shadows. Maybe we'll do that, yeah. You can turn on reflections if you'd like. I don't prefer it. You can add a ground plane. Also don't prefer it. We're going to change the visual style to realistic. You'll see a few things kind of shifted around. And then we're going to click on this ray tracing button, which basically uses lighting and shadow to make it more realistic. We're going to click on ray tracing. And you'll see we have a little tab here. Yours might say CPU. Mine says GPU because I'm on the beta, but hopefully it's out soon. And it looks a lot more realistic now. You can kind of zoom in, and you'll see that materials look a lot more naturalistic. You can actually make it high. Depending on what graphics card you have, your computer might not be able to take it. And you can kind of see it's jittering around. But yeah, you can kind of mess with that. Maybe I wanted to do a different material for this. We can actually change it. Maybe I love, what is it? It's like there's like a pool one. It's like, okay, indoor pool. I'm actually going to change this from high to like low just so I can get this to load. There we go. So this is like what indoor pool would look like. You can kind of see it's like glass almost. You can mess around with like aluminum, I think is what I really like. Polished aluminum looks really good. It doesn't look like as nice. I mean, there's like a stainless steel. Hopefully it's like a chrome-ish. Yeah, there we go. Like that could be something you'd like a little bit more maybe. A little bit of texture to it. You can even change it to, I know that clear green is like an option here. Yeah, there's like a clear green one. And it's kind of like this clearish plastic. You can kind of see them underneath it. I wish they had like normal plastics and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we can select on it. It's kind of like almost like an emerald type material. You can definitely get, foil gold for the top. And that's definitely, a choice for your shelf. This looks kind of terrible in my opinion. That does not match. Not one bit. Hot metal. This looks like just yellow, really. But like I said, there are lots of material options you can play with. I'm going to kind of go back to my original option. Or even like just kind of make it feel like a kid's table. It's kind of fun. Maybe we'll go with like a cyan bottom. There, yeah. This actually looks like really like it looks like a child's table almost, but it's a little bit fun, It also looks like a stick of butter. But you can kind of see with ray tracing we can get a lot better of a result. We kind of get some shadows. You can go to high, and you'll see that they kind of fade away over time. It requires a lot of iteration to get to where it wants to be. And like I said, like this is kind of where we're ending out today. Like I said, totally short, just meant to kind of go over a few things. Those circles lined up pretty well. But yeah, that's the end of today's camp. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us via STEMpump support or YouTube comments or whatever. Yeah, and have a good day, night, or wherever you are. Bye.